Greetings. Today is June 1st, 2026. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. Today, June 1st, officially marks the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season, which is projected to be a less active than normal season thanks to several factors, but mainly due to the future development of El Niño. Meanwhile, on the other hand, sea surface temperatures in the main tropical cyclone development region extending from the Caribbean to Africa remain near or below normal. And although today I wanted to talk about the latest projections from the seasonal models regarding the activity anticipated in the Atlantic, I have decided to record this video to speak specifically about the Eastern Pacific, which unlike the Atlantic is projected to have a very active season thanks to the imminent development of El Niño and sea surface temperatures that are well above normal throughout the region west of Mexico and Central America. And although the season began on May 15th and no tropical cyclones have formed, it is very likely that this will change during the next 10 days because the formation of several cyclones is anticipated, beginning with a low-pressure area located near 125 degrees west longitude. It has a high probability of development, and it is possible that we will see the formation of the first cyclone of the season here. However, it poses no threat to land areas. Now then, as you will see later, some models project the development of one or two low-pressure systems south of Mexico and Central America, which could encounter favorable conditions for development and perhaps have tracks quite close to or over portions of western Central America and southern Mexico. To review the first names on this year's storm list, they would be Tropical Storm Amanda, Tropical Storm Boris, and Tropical Storm Christina. Now then, as I mentioned in recent weeks, by late May and early June a favorable phase of the Madden-Julian Oscillation would become established over portions of the Eastern Pacific, and this would very likely result in favorable conditions for tropical cyclone formation. This is represented in green and blue colors in this image. This means there will be significant atmospheric instability throughout the Eastern Pacific, which will promote the formation of low-pressure systems and create favorable conditions for tropical cyclone development. As an example, this is the projection for the next 5 days, and for next week conditions will continue to be very favorable for the formation of rainfall and low-pressure systems near or over western Central America and Mexico. As if that were not enough, sea surface temperatures west of Central America and south of Mexico currently remain between 30 and 32 degrees Celsius. Therefore, the formation of any cyclone in this area with a northwestward track is very likely, with the combination of a favorable Madden-Julian Oscillation phase and such warm temperatures leading to significant strengthening. In fact, there is a possibility that the first hurricane of the season could form. In terms of temperature anomalies, notice that the entire area between Hawaii, Central America, and south and west of Mexico remains with sea surface temperatures exceeding 1 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal. It is precisely because of this that the National Hurricane Center has assigned the first low-pressure area up to a 90% chance of development during the next 7 days. And notice that it would maintain a west-northwest track, away from the coasts of Mexico and Central America. And for now, it also appears that it will remain east of Hawaii. However, notice the other area that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted, which currently has a 40% chance of development during the next 7 days, and is located south of El Salvador, Guatemala, Chiapas, Oaxaca, and Guerrero, where we may see one or two low-pressure systems with development potential. This is precisely what the global models are showing. Let us begin with the American model, which in about 2 to 3 days develops a tropical storm associated with a low-pressure system located over the open Pacific waters. But in addition, by the weekend it begins to define a low-pressure area west of Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Eventually, by early next week and in its latest run, the model develops a tropical storm as it moves very close to the southern coast of Guatemala and eventually moves toward Oaxaca and Chiapas. Meanwhile, the artificial intelligence version of the American model also develops a well-defined low-pressure area very close to and south of El Salvador and Guatemala, crossing the region by early next week and remaining relatively weak as it moves toward portions of Chiapas. In addition, the European model also shows the development of several tropical cyclones. First, a tropical storm associated with a low-pressure area located over the distant Pacific waters, but eventually, just like the American model, it also develops some low-pressure systems over western Central America and southern Mexico. Notice that by early next week, the latest run of the European model shows the formation of 2 tropical storms. In addition, the artificial intelligence version of the European model also develops 2 low-pressure systems, one south of Michoacán and Guerrero and another south of El Salvador and Guatemala. The German model also shows the development of these low-pressure systems, one south of El Salvador and Guatemala and another somewhat closer to the Guerrero and Michoacán region. It is very likely that development probabilities will continue increasing, especially since the ensemble members of the different models also show cyclonic development. For example, the European model. Nearly all members show the development of a tropical storm, and some develop a hurricane. In addition, the American model ensemble members also show the development of 1 or 2 tropical storms near the coast of Central America and south of Mexico, while Google's artificial intelligence model, almost all of them, develop a strong tropical storm or hurricane moving northwestward and parallel to the western and southern coast of Mexico. In addition, the other version of Google's artificial intelligence model also shows development in the same area, as does the new ensemble of the European artificial intelligence model. And although it is definitely too early to know what direct or indirect effects these low-pressure systems may have, whether in portions of Central and Northern Central America or southern Mexico, I did want you to see the following accumulated rainfall projection for the next 7 days, where we can clearly see that beginning next weekend and into early next week we will have heavy rainfall affecting portions of southern Mexico and southern and western Central America. In fact, in this case, the American model projects that during the next 7 days between 125 and as much as 175 millimeters of rainfall could accumulate in portions of Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and portions of the states of Oaxaca, Guerrero, Michoacán, and Chiapas. Here at Hurricane Info I will continue closely monitoring the evolution of these low-pressure systems and will keep you informed of any developments in the forecast. So before I go, I would like to ask that you give this video a like. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you receive notifications whenever I record new videos. I hope everyone has an excellent day, and stay tuned because I will be recording several videos throughout the rest of the week. See you later.